Hi, AP Chemistry students. Good to see you again. We are in week 4 of this course, and hopefully you are staying with us and staying on track and sticking to your pacing schedule. If you haven't already, make sure that you have filled out uh, the pacing guide here, and that's something that you determine. You set your pace for this course depending on maybe when your school needs the coursework done. So make sure you're setting a pace for yourself that works for this semester, semester A. Remember there's a semester B as well. So you want to kind of look ahead and make sure that you are getting everything done on time according to whatever pace you need to set. Okay? There are suggestions, I believe, in Buzz for pacing and when things are due, but those are simply suggestions. That gives you probably 26 weeks to cover semester A and another 26 weeks to cover semester B. You may not have that much time, so you need to make sure that you're setting a pace that works for you so that you can get the course done in a timely manner. Okay? We are in week 4, and in week 4 you're going to continue with stoichiometry, but you're going to couple that with the study of solutions. So basically you're taking a solid compound and you're dissolving it in water to make an aqueous solution. And you're going to be looking at different types of reactions. You're going to be looking at the stoichiometry that allows you to solve for reactions that are happening in solutions. Okay. Some of the key concepts here, you're going to be looking at ionic compounds that you dissolve in water, and those are going to form electrolytes. So you're going to be studying about that. You're going to be looking at acids and bases. Again, those are, if you take a solid, certain solids, sodium hydroxide, you put that into water, it forms what is called a base. Hydrogen chloride, if you put that into that solid compound, if you put that into water, it's going to make an acid, which is called hydrochloric acid. And so those are different types of solutions that can be formed, and you can be looking at the reactions that are involved using those different solutions. Certainly when we talk about solutions, we have to talk about concentration, and so one of the measurements of concentration is molarity. You'll be learning about that. You can dilute a solution. What that means is you take an existing solution where you've already dissolved some solid in it, a certain amount of it, have a certain concentration, and then you just add water. And by adding water, you dilute that solution. You don't change the number of particles that are in that solution. So the moles that you have of a certain compound before you diluted it is going to be equal to the moles after, and that's what this formula down here allows you to, the moles before and after allow you to use that formula then to find maybe a missing concentration or a desired volume. Okay, so you'll learn about that. You will be learning about different types of reactions and writing either the complete equation, balanced equation for it, or an ionic equation, or the net ionic equation, and those have their different purposes, so just be aware of that. With reactions of two solutions, when you mix two solutions and they form a precipitate, that's a precipitation reaction, and you're going to be learning about that as well. Excuse me, and you're going to be looking at some of the solubility rules, which you probably are going to have to commit to memory and learn different types of compounds that when they are formed, they are very insoluble, meaning that they will then form a solid and a precipitate. That's what a precipitate is. It forms a solid. Okay. The different types of reactions that you can be looking at in this chapter. Some of them involve acids and base reactions. Some of them are going to form precipitation. And another one here is oxidation reduction, and that involves the movement of electrons. That's going to come up later again when we look at electrochemistry. So the more you learn about oxidation reduction, or also called redox reactions, now it'll serve you very well in the future. Okay? And then titrations is a process that you use in order to mix two solutions basically until a certain point, and then you are able to do some calculations with that and find maybe a missing concentration of one of the solutions. Okay, and the The continuation of oxidation reduction reactions here continues in this chapter. And again, like I said, you should learn how to do it obviously in this chapter, chapter 4, but that's going to come up again later on. We'll use it again as we look at an upcoming chapter, actually in semester B, when we look at electrochemistry. Okay. This week, this chapter actually now is going to be broken into 2 parts. Week 4 is the first part of chapter 4, and week 5 is going to be the second part of chapter 4. So now that we're done with some of the basics of chapter 1, 2, and 3, the remaining chapters are going to be broken into 2 weeks. So you'll see here that day 1, again, you're suggested to start with your reading and note-taking, and then day 2, start with those homework problems. They're assigned there for you. Again, day 3, there are videos, instructional videos for you to watch if you so choose. But you'll notice there's no test or lab this week. Instead, there's some opportunities for you to respond if you need help, or also here to enter a discussion where I ask you just to respond to some things that you're learning in the class, things you're discovering in the class, and also then respond to another student's post. And then a Skype session. If you're desiring extra help and you need to set up a time when you want to Skype with me, then you can do that, but you have to reserve a time and the instructions are there. So it's not until the next week, week 5, that you'll actually be taking a test over chapter 4, and I'll talk about that in the next video. So just so you know that week 4 here is the beginning of chapter 4, and that'll continue then into week 5. All right, so keep up the good work. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next video next week. Thanks.